Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Post Table Ladder and Chair Show. I'm your host, as always, Glenn Thomas. With me, the Wizard himself, nephew Corey. What's going on, Wizard?
Nothing much, man. Just watching the Eagles hopefully pull out this win, but I'm on pins and needles, but we'll see how it goes.
I definitely see how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. You're here live here on Fox Sports Radio 1340 AM and 96.9 FM, wherever you're listening to us and wherever you're watching us, whether it's on YouTube, whether you're catching us on iTunes, whether you're catching us on Google Play, whether you're catching us on Facebook, man. Go ahead and join the conversation. Leave a comment in the comment section here. Let us know your thoughts on the Tables of Latin Cheers pay-per-view. Let us know your favorite match of the night, but we can get started. Let's get started with the pre-show real quick. We go down to the first match of the night, which we saw Buddy Murphy taking on Cedric Alexander. I mean, this match was good. It's always these two guys are great dance partners. They always live up to the billing every time they get involved. They get in the ring with each other. We saw Buddy Murphy defeat Cedric Alexander earlier in the year down in Australia at the WWE pay-per-view down there. These two guys just put on another phenomenal match, and I think they tell you what 205 is all about. And 205 has had a great run in the last 6 months on the WWE Network, and these two guys is the reason why. But nonetheless,
Yeah.
Buddy Murphy gets to win here. Give me your thoughts on this match.
I thought it was very good. I thought it was, just a continuation of what they already had, and when you put those guys in the ring, like you mentioned, they put on a good show, and it was another solid win for Buddy Murphy, and it was pretty much to the point where hey, this is pretty much where they want to go. They want to do the cruiserweight division behind him for the time being, so they have another star built up. Well, they do have another star, Mustafa Ali, built up realistically. I think the chase is better for Mustafa. So rack up a couple more wins for Buddy, and then we'll see where it goes.
Definitely see where it goes. And I think this one, I mentioned on our show the week, I thought this would be on the main card and not the pre-show, but hey, WWE knows better than we do because the main card was pretty stacked, and the matches on that card was also great. Well, let's move on here. We saw also on the pre-show, we saw Elias take on Bobby Lashley, and we talked about this one extensively on our show, saying that if Bobby Lashley gets to win, this is where he needs to go. If Elias gets to win, he needs a key signature win here. Lashley needs to continue to look strong as being that monster heel. As I picked, I thought Lashley would be the one that would eventually face Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Only time would tell there. But we saw that Elias picked up the win tonight in this match, what I thought was kind of corny anyway, with guitar on the pole match or guitar ladder match. Who winner gets the guitar. Didn't even get to use it, but nonetheless, Elias picks up the win. But Lashley still looks strong at the end of the match, where we saw Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley attack Elias. And my goodness, what a frog splash by Leo Rush. That cat got up there. I know he's not much.
Yeah.
It's not much getting up in the air. He's a buck, whatever, soaking wet. But the frog splash was good. Lashley still looks strong at the end of the match. Your thoughts on where Elias goes from here and what Bobby Lashley did tonight to solidify himself as one of the top heels on Monday Night Raw?
You know where I think it goes? I may be looking a little further into it than what you may be, but I think this sets up now that Elias got this key win, in which we'll get into something. Okay, I'll put it this way. If you want me to talk about it, I will, but it deals with something that happened later on in the card. Should I revisit, or should I just talk about it now?
Let's revisit. Let's keep the listeners waiting.
Revisit. Okay.
Let's revisit.
Cool. That'll work.
Let's keep them revisit, keep jumping. And then we move on. We saw here, I say Leo Rush and them getting the big win, getting the impact over Elias. Then we move on to what I thought was a good match here, the tag team title match, where we saw the Bar taking on New Day, taking on the Usos, and I was really, and the announcers mentioned it. David Otunga, I think he mentioned it.
You skipped something, man. You skipped something.
What I skip?
The mixed match challenge.
I skipped that on purpose. I skipped that on purpose. And I'm going to tell you why I skipped that. I know that was the first match on the quote-unquote main card of the show. I skipped that intentionally because that was the only reason that was on there. One, they was doing it for charity. Two, it was a mixed match challenge. Three, they wanted to get the viewers on Facebook Live that they had gotten for the last 2 months running this mixed match challenge that nobody really watched to try to subscribe to the network. And so, if for ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, R-Truth and Carmella won the mixed match challenge over Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox, and I did skip that intentionally. They won the match here, and we know R-Truth will now be the number 30 entering into the contest, into the Royal Rumble, and Carmella will be number 30 entering into the Women's Royal Rumble. I just hope, I saw this on the internet, and I just hope it's not true. I hope R-Truth does not go to the Women's Rumble and try to be number 30.
Oh no. Hmm.
I just hope that doesn't
Oh
happen.
man.
He already booked his vacation to Stamford, Connecticut anyway. So,
I know. I know.
but it opened up the show with a little bit levity and funny, some comedy as we got serious into the show. But good win for R-Truth and Carmella. You know, at least keeping Carmella relevant after after she lost her WWE SmackDown title. They still have to find something for her. Truth be told, I don't think she fits into the league with those women that we just saw put in that match. So
Yeah, and that's why they're doing what they're doing with her right now, kind of being the comedic act. Because I mean, as we saw later on in the night, the three that were in the TLC match are really light years ahead of everybody else that's on the SmackDown roster. I mean, that includes Naomi. Like, they are way ahead of them. They really are.
yeah. Anyway, Harper, let's go here. Usos, New Day, The Bar. I was interested that it was just Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I thought Big E would be in this one, as they mentioned on the commentary, power versus power. But we got the two quick guys in this match, and you saw majority of the New Day. You saw majority of the New Day in The Bar in the ring with each other. Usos didn't get tagged in until a little bit later. When they got tagged in, you saw a lot of super kick parties going on with the Usos. You know,
Right.
very good match here, and it told a good story. I guess you was right here. You picked The Bar, and I picked the Usos. I was wrong here. I thought the Usos would get a home win because I'm thinking, you know, they're in California, you know, Samoans and everything else that's going on. I thought the Usos would walk away in 2018 to being your SmackDown champions, but nonetheless, you are the Wizard. And we got the New Day. I mean, we got, The Bar, who picked up the win here. The Bar who picked up the win after Sheamus hit a bro kick on Xavier Woods. Your thoughts on this match?
Great opener. It's technically the real opener. Great opening match. Great sequence with these three teams. You know what actually helped this is that there was no gimmick to the match as far as like a table, ladder, chair, or TLC. Like, I think that helped this match because they got to rely on each other and do spots with each other instead of trying to make sure they incorporated the facets of whatever gimmick was going to be attached to the match. So the match came off very well. Everybody was on the edge of their seats, and they all three teams delivered. They did.
Yeah, I don't think these guys can have a bad match. These three teams together. I think you always put these three teams together, you're gonna have a good match.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Absolutely.
that's where they're the top three tag teams in WWE right now. You know,
Yeah.
they are. If you look
I
at tag team champions on Monday Night Raw, you and I know is Gable and Rude, but you look at AOP. We had high hopes for Revival. Haven't got that yet. You know, these three tag teams are the best tag team.
I think we're getting there, though. But nonetheless, go ahead.
Yeah, the best three tag teams on the roster. So we move on. Then we moved on to the Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. This match right here, I wouldn't say it was comedy, but it's retribution in the payback match here. We know Braun Strowman had surgery a couple weeks ago, and it was good to see that WWE still decided to bring him back out to the ring, to the fans, and he got a huge pop when he came out. We saw his arm in a sling. And the way he used the stipulation of the match was that the fact that it was a no disqualification match. So everybody that Baron Corbin ever pissed off or made upset, made mad, made whatever case may be, came out to the ring here. We saw Finn Balor come out. We saw Apollo Crews. We saw Bobby Roode. We saw Gable. We even saw Heath Slater. I got kids, man, who was a referee for this match. All attack Baron Corbin to allow Braun Strowman to pick up the win here. And now we know that Baron Corbin is no longer the general manager of Monday Night Raw, and that the chairman himself, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, will be on Monday Night Raw on this tomorrow night on Monday night to address something. We don't know what he's going to address. Maybe put a new general manager in place. Also, Kurt Angle got involved in this match as well. It's good to see Vince McMahon coming out to Monday Night Raw, even though the ratings are a little bit low. The Monday night game is supposed to be okay. The Saints versus Carolina. Good night for Vince McMahon to step up. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great a great analysis, Gilo. Seriously, because the Monday night game that they're going against potentially could end up being a blowout. So, why not at this point, if it's going to be a blowout, why not go ahead and put the heavy guns and really push something out to keep fans on the other side, and other side of the channel, that is, and pull out Vince McMahon. So this is going to work tomorrow night.
I think so. I think it's going to work, and I think everybody wants to tune in. And plus, this is WWE week on USA. Mm-hmm. So it kicks off the WWE week. You can have WWE every night of the week almost, or see part of WWE every night of the week this week. So it's a lot of things going on in the WWE. So it's good to be there. And we start with the chairman of the board, Vince Kennedy McMahon, who will be there on tomorrow night. Once again, Braun Strowman picks up the win. And then with that win, Braun Strowman will face none other than Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble for the Universal Championship. I don't want to make my prediction early, but I think Braun Strowman actually gets the win on this one. Well, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on. That's my early prediction, and it may change in the next couple of weeks, but early prediction here. Then we move on to Ruby Riott taking on Natalya, and I love the Riott Squad. I'm a big fan of the Riott Squad. I love how the Riott Squad came out with the table of Jim the Anvil Neidhart with the big, I want to call it the fat head on the table of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Hats off to Natalya for playing this role for the last couple months as she grieved her father's death, but allowing Ruby Riott in the WWE to play this up a little bit. But the match was pretty good. The storytelling of this match was good as well. I like the fact how they eliminated, each one of the Riott Squad by putting them through a table. How she did Liv Morgan through a table. How Sarah Logan also went through a table. I was kind of worried about Liv Morgan when she went through that table because of the past concussions. We go back to Brie Bella, how she hit her head. I hope she was all right when she hit the floor. I haven't heard any reports or anything about that. But Natalya picks up the win by putting Ruby Riott through a table that had Ruby Riott's fat head on it. And she also had her dad's jacket on it as she put Ruby Riott to the table. Was it your thoughts on this match, how it developed, and where do you see Natalya going from here?
I thought it was just a solid match. It was nothing extraordinary, but nothing, it wasn't bad, and they didn't overdo anything. It was just a solid, good tables match. I thought it was a good close to the storyline, and I guess you kind of just built Natalya as a solid contender for the Rumble.
Yeah, she does, but the Riott Squad, though, they who else can they go pick on? Sasha and Bayley now? They just left them. I just look and see what where the Riott Squad goes from here. With those three women, you gotta pick somebody else up or pick on somebody else. You don't go Nia Jax, you don't go Tamina. There's something that has to be developed with the Riott Squad. I think Ruby Riott will be a champion one day in the WWE. I really do believe that she will be a women's champion. Just would be interested to see where she goes from here and where the WWE takes her.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
It will be. Let's move on. This match, Finn Balor taking on Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is a stud, ladies and gentlemen. Drew McIntyre, once again, we always say it here in Wrestling Marks of Excellence, that he will be eventually a Universal Champion. Good to see WWE putting Finn Balor back into a relevant storyline. For a couple months there, Finn Balor was doing nothing but hanging out with Bayley. But WWE's made him a little bit relevant on that. Let me start with you. Your thoughts on this match?
I'll put it this way. It was pretty much now, I guess it was kind of, if you paid attention to everything that happened throughout the night, Baron Corbin and all his associates lost tonight. So I guess it was kind of a closing to that storyline as well, and opening up new ones. So, Finn getting the win, it was to help signify, like I said, just the close of that storyline overall. But good match, another good solid match. Nothing overdone, just another good solid match.
What else is there too? It kept Dolph Ziggler being a heel. Dolph Ziggler comes out towards the end of this match and helps out. I don't want to say help Finn Balor, but he attacks Drew McIntyre, and he allows Finn Balor to end up getting a win in this match. And then we see it later on in the backstage segment where Dolph Ziggler attacks Finn Balor. So it keeps both Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre both kind of heels, but they also let you know that they parted and they gone their separate ways, which is kind of cool because WWE.
Good way to tell that.
Yeah, good way to tell that because they don't need to make Dolph Ziggler face. We already seen how that flows. It doesn't work well for Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah,
When Dolph Ziggler is
absolutely.
a face, it does not work well at all for Dolph Ziggler. So it's good to see that Dolph Ziggler uh, is no longer is not a face, but he is a heel, and that these two guys are not together. We, as you mentioned, we saw the super kick Dolph Ziggler on to Drew McIntyre here to close this match out. But a good storytelling here. Finn Balor, hey, moves on. As he faces Dolph Ziggler, and I'll talk a little bit later on when we get there where I think Finn Balor's going. Uh, as we get to that part. Let's move on. Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio. Good match here. As you can see, big guy versus the little guy type match where Randy Orton could basically do what he wanted to do with Rey Mysterio. Randy Orton basically controlled majority of this match. Rey got some of his moves in. 619. The cheers were heavily in play in this match.
Hmm.
Very heavily in play in this match. Thought the match was decent. Could have been a little bit better. But it told a story. It told the story, and I had to take my hats off to you. You said Rey Mysterio needed a big win, and it was about
Yeah.
time for him to get the big win, and he got that big win tonight over Randy Orton by rolling him up. He stole a win over Randy Orton by
Yeah.
rolling him up at the end of this match, in this cheer match.
Yeah. As I stated in our last show, it was a situation where he needed a quality win. Um, I thought they played. I think Ray and Orton had a really good chemistry with each other, and it showed. Uh, Ray works really well, even at this age for him. He works really well. He put on a very, very decent performance tonight, and shout out to Randy Orton too for just making Ray look just as good, and also still keeping that same kind of sadistic kind of twist with him. And I just feel as though if you're gonna do that with those two and put on that silent performance, let them go a little while, and that's what they did. So kudos to them.
Yeah, kudos to them. Like I said, they did let him go a little while. They let the two guys roll it out and fight it out. And it was good to see, Rey Mysterio pick up the win that, like I said, that he needs. Hopefully he goes on to maybe Shinsuke Nakamura, somewhere else there, get a chance at the U.S. title, or maybe eventually get the WWE title. Him and Daniel Bryan wouldn't be a bad matchup there. But we'll see what the Rey Mysterio goes in the next couple of weeks on WWE SmackDown. Shout out to Mike Knox, who's listening in, who said that the pay-per-view was pretty dope. It was pretty dope. It was a
Yeah.
good pay-per-view there. Let's move on here. Let's go on to Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. And I'll let you start here on this match with Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax. Your thoughts on this one and some analysis where you think we see what Ronda did towards the end of the show. But your thoughts on this match?
Uh, it was. I mean, it was a typical match that you were going to get with Nia and Ronda. It was, not necessarily that it was bad for Nia, but it was just ultimately to rack up more wins for Ronda, make Ronda look even stronger, and not in a bad way. I know people used to say after Roman, make Roman look strong. No, you want to make Ronda look strong because that's your woman right now for the division. And it was another quality performance from her. It's not like they're making her look strong out there in spite of her having limited skills or something. She's done very well in the ring, and she has been doing well. Her performances have been great, and it was another quality win for her, and that's another quality match. I thought it was well done.
Yeah, it was. I mean, good quality match for her, Ronda. And every time we see her do something different or add something different to her arsenal, saw the big crossbody tonight off the top rope. We saw Nia Jax, work her strong style with Ronda Rousey, and we saw Ronda Rousey take a beating a little bit. She sold, and that's what I like about her. The fact that she does sell. People may not like Ronda Rousey when they first came in. I can't say that she has had a bad match yet. The one that she had at WrestleMania just last year with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon and Kurt Angle, it was good. Every match that she has, she's involved, and that's what you want to see from a young talent. You want to see them
Yes, you
evolve,
do.
and Ronda Rousey has evolved in her game. And that's where we have people. Oh, she hasn't lost yet. We know that she's going to lose eventually. She's not going to have the title, but it's
Right.
going to be meaningful when she does lose. You know.
Yes, absolutely. Hmm.
is going to be meaningful when they lose it, and it's going to have an impact on it. So it just won't be one of those fly-by-nights or at a pay-per-view like TLC where she's going to take an L. It may be at a WrestleMania. It may, and what we saw at the end of the night may be setting up the fact that she will take an L. But you know,
Yeah.
and so that's what I like about her. And then she's getting different variations of how she's putting people into the armbar. That's what I like too.
Mm-hmm.
The different
Oh yeah,
variations of how
absolutely.
she's doing the armbar. The little subtle things that I saw tonight from her was how she was able to put an armbar and stare Tamina in the face like, I dare you to come in this ring. I dare you to come in here. Um,
Right.
you know, and I dare you to come in
Mm-hmm.
here and do it and look at it. And she looked right at her, and that's what I like about Ronda Rousey. Her facial expressions and how she sells and how she does everything like that is what's making her a great competitor in the WWE. And she's picking it up just like people say Kurt Angle picked it up.
Yeah.
She's picking
Yeah.
it up real quick.
Absolutely.
She picked it up fast, and that's what I like about her. She's picking it up, and she's and she's a star.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that she's definitely a star, and they're making her look like one.
Yeah, and it's bringing more eyes, more attention, more women to the sport. I don't know about you, but the women matches to me seem so much better tonight
Yeah.
than most
Oh
of the
yeah,
men
yeah,
matches.
yeah. Tonight, yeah. That's where the focus was. Absolutely.
And they're making the shows that much better. They're making Raw better. They're making SmackDown better. They have to me, they have the better storylines. And we talk about it, and shout out to Champ Creed, who always mentioned it. The women know how to go on Twitter and on social media to draw you in.
Yeah.
They're
Gotta
using
give them
those subtle
credit for
things
that.
to those things to make their storylines relevant. From Nia Jax talking about punching Becky Lynch in the face to Becky Lynch talking about she's the man. Just all type of things that they're using on social media to continue to draw fans in, which is great. Let's move on here. Next match of the night: Daniel Bryan taking on AJ Styles. In my opinion, the best two workers in WWE. These two guys
Oh
are
yeah.
the best two workers in the WWE right now, and it is good to see that Daniel Bryan uh, is back with the company. I mean, I know he's been back for a while, but it's good to see him to be put on matches. I was thinking if Daniel Bryan had not got healthy or had not got cleared, then we wouldn't have had a match like this tonight. What else would we
Right.
have had? You know, it's good that Daniel Bryan got cleared, but let me get your thoughts first before we go on to AJ Styles. Before I share my thoughts on AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan.
Uh, I mean, as obvious as this may sound, I mean, the first statement that comes to mind when it comes to this match is, what else did you think you were going to get but a 5-star performance out of these two? It was an excellent match from beginning to end, told a great story. I was thoroughly impressed with the work of both men, but like I said just now, what else did you expect?
Right, and you got to tell a great story, and you got to win where Daniel Bryan continues to be the heel that he is. He got the win with the roll up,
Yep.
which was good. That takes me back to the old '80s and the early '90s where heels would get that would get beat up or talk a lot of trash, but they would get the barely win. The hot stuff Eddie Gilbert would get the win like that, and that's the old name for some of you guys. Check out UWF and some stuff on the network. Hot stuff Eddie Gilbert would get that win like that, where he would roll a guy up and he get the win, he rolls out. Or even Michael P.S. Hayes used to get the win like that and roll out into the ring
Right.
and not know. And people like, how did he get the win there? And you thought AJ Styles would get the win. The match went back and forth, but Daniel Bryan escaped, and he still is your WWE champion right now. Be interested to see where he goes here on SmackDown. Do we see a Samoa Joe in the picture? Is AJ Styles, his feud with AJ Styles done? Do we see a Daniel Bryan, and I mentioned earlier, do we see a Daniel Bryan now and a Rey Mysterio come up in there? Rey Mysterio got a big win over Randy Orton. In your opinion, who you think Daniel Bryan goes to next, or do we see a Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles?
Oh, that's a great call. That's a great call. You know what? That may very well be where we're going. And you know what? That alludes to something I was going to talk about earlier, but I'm still going to get to it. Yeah, I think you got to go Rey Mysterio, Daniel Bryan next, and that's going to be at the Royal Rumble. And I think that's going to be really good if you go that route. So yeah, I do that. I do that.
And I think the fans will like that. I think fans would.
So I'm sorry. The Eagles just forced the fumble on the kickoff. On the punt. So the Eagles got the ball back. I'm sorry.
I know you're a big Eagle fan. I can't live it down. You know, can't live it down when I can't say anything.
It's live radio, folks. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We multitasking here. We multitasking. I'm not an Eagles fan. You know, I'm rooting against the Eagles tonight. But look like they're gonna get the win. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's gonna come down to Washington and the Eagles in Week 17. Watch.
Yeah, wouldn't it be crazy? But nonetheless.
Nonetheless, let's get back to professional wrestling. Daniel Bryan
Yeah.
picks up the win here, and he remains champion. I said, as we mentioned, he may go to Rey Mysterio. We're interested to see how Tuesday Night SmackDown shapes up here. Then we went on to the feud, Dean Ambrose taking on Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. Before I get to the match, even in the commentary on this match, maybe it's just me, and I want somebody else to hit me up at Gfather725 and let me know. Leave a comment in the comment
Pause
section.
right there. I think I know where you're going. I'm not going to say anything, but I think I know where you're going. I already have the response to that. Go ahead. I think I know where you're going.
Didn't they
Go
talk
ahead.
a lot about Dean Ambrose and Renee Young being married tonight?
That's where we were going. That's where I was going. Because I shout out to my boy Darius. I just was talking to him about that, and I said, how long is it going to be before they not keep Renee and Dean separated off the TV? So, yeah, I'm 100% there with you. I think it's going to happen sooner than later.
And God, I think it has to happen. They talking about it too much. She's making her give analysis of what happened while he was hurt, and all this that's going on with Dean Ambrose. And I'm like, man, my God, if you ain't know she was married to him, you do now.
Right.
Right. You're breaking down the fourth wall here with Dean Ambrose and Renee Young. But nonetheless, let's get to the match. The match was a good match here. Dean Ambrose, as we mentioned, had tweaked a lot of things to his for his attire, the hair, the beard, to tweak a lot of things to become the heel in this. And I think they put on a good match. Even though some of the crowd chants, at one point I thought I heard a boring chant in this match.
Oh no, you didn't. You heard it. You heard it. You didn't think you heard it. You heard it.
What's up, champ?
You definitely heard it.
What's going on, brother?
What's
Champ,
up?
what's
Yeah,
going on?
I thought I heard it, but champ, what did you hear, champ? You heard it boring, didn't you?
Yeah, well, listen, I will say this. In the past 2 years, there have been 4 matches where I've been let down. And not that they were bad, it's just that I expected more. And Dean Ambrose has been in 3 of those 4 matches. Tonight was one of them. The other one was Extreme Rules, Dean Ambrose versus Jericho. And then the other one was WrestleMania, Dean Ambrose versus Lesnar. And I just don't know what it is. Not that he has bad matches. He actually had some really good ones. It's just, I think his persona and the way he carries himself, like everything that he does is like at a 10. You know what I mean? It's just that sometimes when he gets in there, he just doesn't have the chemistry with, the person after the feud is built up for so long.
I
just think they don't make good dance partners.
You know what? That's also true too. That could be true too. Go ahead, Sean.
What did you say? I couldn't hear you, G.
I don't think they make good dance partners. The people that you talked about, they don't mesh. I mean, let's look back at Edge and Christian. How we thought when Edge and Christian would break up, they would be good dance partners. They didn't have great matches.
Yeah. And that's what it can come down to. It can come down to a simple, chemistry thing, and it's both individually, or for example, Seth and Dean have had matches before, but it hasn't been a feud that is built up the way that it is now with the emotional pull of Roman. So that was kind of like, okay. And then the thing with Brock, it just was a stinker at Mania. And, maybe now that he has the IC title, he'll get, like you said, a more comparable dance partner. I'd like to see a feud with him and Balor.
There you go.
Now that he's a heel. I like to see a feud with he and let me see. Well, I can't even think of too many people from the Raw roster off to the top of the head now. Oh, he and Elias, that'll be a good feud. Even though their styles are kind of similar in ring, what have you, but I'm pretty sure the back and forth banter will be worth the price of admission.
I wish Champ hadn't got on this call now, because stole my thunder. That's what I ultimately, from the beginning of the show, was saying I was going to wait for and allude to now. That's where Dean Ambrose goes now. Dean Ambrose goes into his Intercontinental Championship feud with Elias. That's where this is going. You probably get the rematch with Dean and Seth as early as tomorrow night, because I really do think, like I said on the previous show, Seth's my winner for the Royal Rumble. That's just where I'm going to go. Seth's my winner for the Royal Rumble. At this point, you go ahead and you blow off the feud with Seth and Dean, and you go Dean and Elias. Elias has enough steam as a face that him and Dean and Dean, I think the promos between these two, will be surprisingly good. I don't think Elias will come out on top of this feud, but it'll be really entertaining. But I do think that's where we go next, is Dean and Elias.
Yeah, I think Dean and Elias, I think Champ also hit on. Mine will be Finn Balor. I think Finn has to do something significant, but I think Finn will get rid of Dolph Ziggler first, and I think they'll go into the Royal Rumble, and I think after that we'll see Finn and one of those guys, and Elias, and Bobby Lashley in an Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and move on, man. We got to the last match of the night, and I know everybody wants to talk about this match. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka, and it's something about these women right here. I don't care what anyone says, that this match here to me has been one of the best matches of the year. I think one of the best matches of the year. When you go back and look at some of the matches from pay-per-views and the main event, and I'm glad WWE made a decision to let this close the show.
Oh, that was the test. That was the test for the Mania main event. You know that, right?
Yeah. I agree. I 100% agree with that. That was the test and see if this would work. If the parties involved, not necessarily Asuka, but the parties involved, if they could be main event worthy at WrestleMania. I 100% agree with that.
Oh, yes. Oh, we know what we're getting at Mania right now.
Do we?
Triple threat?
No. You know what? Do we?
I'm gonna say we're gonna get a triple threat match.
Okay. Because I thought you may have been alluding to it being 1-on-1. Okay.
No.
Yeah,
I think it's hands down gonna be a triple threat match. The interesting part is how they get to this triple threat match.
Charlotte or Becky win the Rumble, and oh man, you know what? Yeah, I don't know.
Right, getting to this triple threat.
How you get there. You're right.
And guys who are listening to us who may not watch the pay-per-view, what happened towards the end of the pay-per-view, and we don't want to take any away from the match itself, it was a great match, but towards the end of the pay-per-view, Becky and Charlotte was on the top of the ladder going for the belt. Ronda Rousey comes out, and if you don't know the backstory, she didn't forget about the fact that she had a match with Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte Flair hit her with the kendo stick, nor did she get to the fact that her and Becky Lynch has been going back and forth on Twitter about the GOAT, about everything else that's been going on in Ronda's life. And so she came out to handle it in their most opportune moment and push both of them off the ladder outside the ring, who allow Asuka to become your WWE SmackDown champion. Champ, I'm going to give you hats off to you. You called it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes the simple story arc is the best story arc. You don't have to pull the wool over people's eyes or try to pull a sleight of hand or get too sophisticated with the swerve. Sometimes the simple way is the best way to go. And then also by doing this, what they did was they kind of reestablished Asuka, and it wipes away the blemish of her not winning the title at Mania, because when she came in with all of that momentum and she didn't get it at Mania, like she kind of like vanished off of the radar for a while, like in insignificant tag team situations, insignificant matchups, not really a solid feud going into what she just went in now. So I think this works for Asuka. You got some key matchups you can make that remove Becky and Charlotte out of the title hunt over there on SmackDown, because their feud is noteworthy without a doubt. Now, It's like you said, how do they get to this triple threat? So let's say you kind of want. Well, all right. If I were booking it, Let's do that.
Mhm.
We'll go around the table if we were booking
Yeah.
it.
You know what? Quick pause. I'm not gonna allude to anything with booking, but also I
Okay.
just wanted to tack on with what you just said, Champ Creed, in
Mhm.
that when you mentioned the story arc of it not being overcomplicated, I think they also did that with adding to that. Not only did they not overcomplicate it, but also they left enough of a gray area there, which we were alluding to with the how do you get to the triple threat, because it was kind of like, okay, where else do we go now? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
like, oh, like how do we get there? Okay, now go ahead.
You know,
Okay. Yeah,
hold on,
and
before we,
and it, go ahead.
before you get there, I think you also made a valid point. Let's not forget Asuka, how they built her back up, and how she had spent months hanging out with Naomi and doing different things
Mhm.
that didn't
Yeah.
seem like Asuka like, but they built her up and they made her to what she is now, the WWE SmackDown champion, and she got her moment. We know last year her moment, and people can say this. Last year her moment is always, I don't want to say taken, because last year people complained about Ronda Rousey taking her moment at Royal Rumble. Well, this year Asuka got her moment and Ronda Rousey was still involved.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah.
so
And it worked out. So to the scenario, if I were booking it, okay. So Becky is, she's right now. She's not the best, but she's the hottest performer. Charlotte is always going to be number one as long as
Yeah,
long
absolutely.
as she
I'm
has
glad
a
you
pulse,
said that.
a heartbeat, and she's involved in the game. Charlotte is always going to be number one by far, by far. It's to the
Mhm.
point I wouldn't mind seeing Charlotte compete against men. Actually, like,
Right.
like I
In
really
205 or something.
in 205. Yeah, I really would like to see a story arc with that. But okay, so you let Becky win, you let her call out Ronda for the belt, and then there's got to be some scenario where if Charlotte wins XYZ, she gets into the main event. But the thing is, how do you get her from SmackDown to Raw? Like that's the hurdle that I can't figure out.
which what I think you do. I think Ronda loses the title and just goes over to SmackDown.
You know
Hmm.
what? Good.
She loses the title
But who
somehow.
she
That,
she loses the title, but then gets it back?
no, I mean that you can do this triple threat without being for a title, and still have enough.
No. It has to be for the belt, bro. It got to be for the
No,
belt.
no, but we missing somebody who's out there. If you have Alexa Bliss as the Raw champion, you can do this right here as a grudge match without a triple threat, without even including the belt involved.
But no, if it's gonna be the main event, it has to be for the belt.
Yeah, but I don't think this one main events. I think you still got Brock out there to main event something. I don't think we get a women's main event at WrestleMania this year.
All right, co-main event.
Maybe co-main event, but they're not gonna close the show. Not
You
at
know
WrestleMania.
what?
Okay.
I'm I'm still on the fence about that, G-Lo. They could still close out the show, especially if it ends up being, which my prediction is, if it ends up being Seth and like Brock, I would lean on the women closing the show, man. I really would.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I would like for them to close the show. I mean, I don't think as of right now, and maybe my mind would change as this story built up. But we're months away from WrestleMania, almost 3 or 4 months away. As of today, on 12/16, I don't think it closes the show. I think it's really high. I think it's one of the marquee matchups. A lot of eyes will be on it. I think because of Ronda Rousey, because of Becky Lynch, and because of Charlotte Flair. As we get closer and the storyline builds up and it get hotter and hotter, it may close the show, but right now I don't see it. It could be co-main event. It'd be one of the ones that be billed, but I don't think it closes the show as of right now. And it may change.
It could. It could very well change.
Yeah, it may change, and we may not. And like I said, if you do it, the easiest way, in my opinion, the easy way to do it, and it may be wrong, if get Ronda to drop the title and then she goes over to SmackDown, and maybe wins. You know.
Well, so wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Going back, you guys don't see Braun beating Brock at the Rumble for the belt?
I don't.
I don't neither.
I don't. I don't.
I don't. I think we get. I really think we get Brock and Bobby Lashley somewhere for the title. I think it hasn't been done. People talked about it a lot. I think we get Brock and Bobby Lashley. Braun doesn't need a title. I'm on that. He's an attraction. He doesn't need the belt. It'd be good for him to have it, but I don't think he needs it. And then I'm also looking at, if he does get it, maybe a Drew McIntyre gets his moment at WrestleMania. So there's a lot of factors out there going into this close to WrestleMania season. I'm not gonna call it WrestleMania season yet, but there's a lot of things to play in a role. I don't think champ. You asked that question. If Braun gets it, do he hang on to it until Mania? And who would you get him to go against in Mania?
Have to.
But who would you get him to go against in Mania?
Yeah, who's he fighting at Mania at this point?
Yeah, if he gets it to Royal Rumble, who's he fighting at Mania?
Yeah, you're right.
You know what, guys? Quick little sidebar, which may end up being a discussion. Did we miss Lars Sullivan? Did I miss him? Did he just not appear?
I didn't see him.
No, I think he's coming tomorrow.
But they advertised him for tonight.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
No,
yeah,
he didn't show
appear.
up. No, he didn't show up.
That was interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I watched the whole show. I didn't see him. Not at all. Not at all. So we'll see where that goes out with Lars Sullivan. Hopefully he appears on. Is he SmackDown?
Yeah, it'd be better off for SmackDown.
Yeah, I think he'd be better off on SmackDown. I think SmackDown.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think he'd be better off on SmackDown than he is on Raw. I think he's more of a SmackDown type guy. More of a SmackDown type guy.
You ain't gonna do Braun and Lars at WrestleMania. That's for sure.
No.
Nah, man. Like I said, this WrestleMania season, I would hate to be the guys in the back because there's a lot of people to put on a card and put different places. You got maybe you may have a returning returning Kevin Owens. You may have a returning Sami Zayn. So you got a lot of people to play with on Raw and SmackDown to fill out WrestleMania. I wouldn't be surprised if WrestleMania had like 18 matches on it.
Oh gosh, you talking about overkill? That's really overkill right there.
I wouldn't be surprised, or a couple battle royals or something like that. But they try to get everybody on the card, But hey, I put a poll out on Twitter earlier tonight, just as the pay-per-view was ending, to see what kind of how the fans rated it. And as of right now, as we on the show, most fans gave this pay-per-view only a 2-star. Majority of the
I mean, for what it was built as with TLC, I think it warrants 2 or 3 stars. But I do think the matches were solid in the sense of people are probably ranking this because they wanted some over-the-top stuff. I think WWE went conservative to where they didn't, like, Champ Creed alluded to, they didn't overcomplicate things. They gave you solid performances, and all the storylines were either blown off correctly or got advanced.
Right.
Nothing was like, everything was done correctly, I think.
I think so, too. And it leads us into new storylines as we close the year out.
I got a question, because you just brought up a good scenario. Like you said, like if Braun does win the title at Rumble, who does he fight? And then if he loses the title at Rumble, does he get a rematch at Mania for that said title? Because by then, it's like he will have had, 5 crap
Yeah,
and
it's only right, and it's only if, I'll put it this way. The only way Braun kind of sneaks his way back into the Mania main event is if somehow he either loses really ridiculously dirty at the Royal Rumble, or Seth doesn't win the Rumble, and maybe Braun goes on and wins the Elimination Chamber. I mean, that's the only things I can think of that
that's how you get the triple threat. Going back,
that's true. Yeah, no, you're right.
There you go right there. So, yeah. So, Charlotte wins the Elimination Chamber, and she gets put into the triple threat for the belt. So,
the only thing is, we almost do, because we got to hope they don't make the Elimination Chamber brand specific to where the winner of this Elimination Chamber is the number one contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, look, I think they're phasing out that brand specific thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think they're
I
phasing
agree.
that out.
I agree.
Yeah, that's on the way out for the simple fact that one, Raw. Wait, was it Raw that won? Was 6-0 or something like that, 7-0 in Survivor Series, and then they got the new show coming on Fox, and I'm pretty sure Fox doesn't want SmackDown to be on, for their first year. I think they want access to the entire roster. So I really think they're going to start to phase that out a little bit. Who knows? That's what Vinnie Mac could probably say tomorrow.
Yeah, it may be a big announcement here coming up, to close out the year. But it's good to see Vince McMahon on Monday Night Raw when it happens, because it's always a big move. It's always big announcements. He's coming to make an impact, no pun intended, on Monday Night Raw.
Oh. I think Braun is booked into a corner though. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no feasible scenario at this juncture that would give him, like you said, because I didn't think about it like that. All right, if he wins around, who does he feud with that's going to sell tickets? Brock is going to keep the belt. If Brock still has the belt up to this point, he's going to have it until WrestleMania,
right,
just to sell those tickets and get whoever beats him over.
Right, but Roman, and this goes back. This is the Roman Reigns effect. Roman being sick, and when I say this, I don't say this in a bad way. I'm not trying to be insensitive about the condition. Roman being sick and having to leave because of his leukemia condition affected Braun Strowman the worst.
Yeah.
Because Braun was going to get it off of Braun was going to get off of Roman, but you couldn't give it to Braun yet, so you had to give it back to Brock because Braun wasn't ready.
You know what else too? We got a forced. Forced is the word I'm looking for. We got a forced face turn out of Braun.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they were going to turn Braun's face again so soon.
No.
Because you look at it, he had a Big Show type face heel flip flop the way he did from August till now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Braun was supposed to be a face at this point.
Nah, I don't think so neither. But let's get ready to wrap this bad boy up. Highlights from tonight. Give me your closing thoughts on the highlights from the TLC pay-per-view and what you're looking forward to in the next coming weeks.
You want to go first, champ?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. As I kind of stated, I think I text you all that I love Daniel Bryan and what he's doing right now. At this point, you just go ahead. Your wrestling matches on these pay-per-views, just use the Daniel Bryan matches as those. Daniel Bryan and AJ, to me, was match of the night. I know the TLC women is the TLC women, but for a match that had no gimmicks attached to it, it was just one-on-one, back and forth, the two best in the company, pretty much, or two of the best. I got to give it to Daniel Bryan and AJ, and I think Daniel Bryan, not that it was never good anyway, but he's really hitting his stride now, and I'm looking forward to more out of him.
Champ.
Okay. In terms of pure match of the night, you can't argue that Daniel Bryan and AJ put on the pure match of the night. That was just 100% pure pro wrestling right there. I think the crowd was a little bit, this San Jose crowd is different. I don't know what they really want. Even for Mania, when they had it out there, it was kind of weird, Did you go to that one, Wiz?
Which one again?
The rest of
29.
Mania, I think it was the Levi Stadium, was it?
No. That was the only one I took a
one?
break from. That was the one I took a break from.
Yeah. It's just something about the Northern California wrestling crowd that seems a bit. I don't know what they want per se. Certain an LA crowd, they like the
they're happy to
entertainment.
be there. That's what it is, Champ. They're just happy to get a show.
Okay, I got you. That's what it is. Okay, but so they were in it in the beginning, and then they died off, and then it picked up, and then it died off again. But despite that, even if you watch the match on mute, that was a mute match of the night. I think the most entertaining match of the night was the TLC triple threat with the women. But I got to give tonight's performance MVP. I got to give it to Ronda again.
Yeah, okay, I can agree with that.
Listen, her first official match was in April, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we are 8 months in the business. The only person that we can compare her to that has picked it up this quickly is Kurt Angle. And I have to say that Ronda at month 8 versus Angle at month 8, I have to give her the edge in terms of in-ring. But mic work, Kurt was just, he blows her out the water. And he blows her out the water in month 2, you know, if you want to break it down. If you want to break it down that way. But I got to give her the MVP. I give the wrestling match of the night and the entertainment match of the night. I'll break it down like that.
I got to give, Ronda Rousey is up there, but I got to give Becky Lynch for jaw jacking Nia Jax in the back. Keep your name out.
You know what?
Keep your name out my mouth.
Now, put it this way. You talk about building somebody up to completely break them down. Like, I really thought they had something with Nia, getting so much heat from being called a face breaker. And, but the way they had the way they had Becky punk her out like that, it was like, I was like, okay, I get it. I guess that's how you close that with those two. But it was like, dang, like, what do you do with Nia? Because not only did you have her lose, which didn't take that much steam off of her because it's Ronda, but you had her one shot. Like, Nia's almost 300 pounds. There was one shot.
Oh, no, I'll do you one better. You have a 6 foot, how tall is she? 6'2", 6'1"?
She's like 6 feet, 6'1".
Oh, you a 6'1", 300-pound woman losing to a 5'3", 100-pound woman?
Right.
When she lost Alexa Bliss? Like, there's no redemption after that. That's not logical in any sense of the word. Like, unless Alexa was built as this ultimate submission machine, whatever, and she could wiggle her way around, but she wasn't built like that,
Right.
Once they did that, her career, to be honest with you, I think Nia Jax's career, there's no redemption angle from this standpoint. Like, especially
what do you do with her?
Yeah, that was her losing to Alexa was the burial. This tonight was the nail in the coffin, and even the premise of her being flanked by Tamina, to which if you remove Nia, Tamina is one of the most meanest, dominating-looking women. Like, her face, like, she's beautiful, but she's just mean. Like, straight up mean. And she's about a good 5'11", 225, 230. And she can't win anything. So you put the two most dominant-looking females on the roster together, and they can't put together a string of wins, a win streak, a title run, a dominant run. Like what's the use? You just
they will. They will when WWE introduces the women's tag team champion. I'm calling Nia Jax and Tamina your first champions. Yeah. That Samoan dynasty thing. I'm gonna put that there.
You know what? You might be right with them being the first champion because it may look so written in stone that Sasha and Bayley would be the first champion that they're probably not. And you're probably right.
Probably not. And you think about this, and I know we're wrapping up. Nia Jax lucked into where she with that heat anyway, because when she tried to turn heel, it wasn't working until she punched Becky in the face.
Right. Yeah.
And they rolled on this. And I agree with you. I've said this any time. I said this on the show, several shows. Anytime people start hanging out with the Bella Twins, and nothing against the Bella Twins, you see what life is like after professional wrestling and how much business you can really make and how much money you can really make after professional wrestling. Wizard, you always said this: the shelf life of a diva is really between 3 to 5 years. Alicia Fox is an anomaly. Natalya is an anomaly. But after that 3 to 5 year mark, if you can make it outside of the wrestling business, you're gone.
What year is Nia in?
On the main roster, she's like 3.
On the main roster. It might be
Two.
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 It's two. It's two. It's two.
I give her. She'll do Mania this year, and I think next Mania will probably be her last.
Because she got modeling
agree with
gigs,
that.
different things that she can do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because I see her inching over to Hollywood anyway. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I can see that happening. And Lord, don't let her find a man. And then she really gone.
Really gone. Hey, really gone. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube. Also, you can find us on iHeartRadio each and every Thursday as we drop a new podcast. We also include our Raw reviews, which happen every Monday night, as well as SmackDown on Tuesday nights. As always, check us out on Twitter at WME Podcast, on Instagram at WME Podcast as well. Leave a comment, leave a 5-star review. Let us know your thoughts and what you thought about this pay-per-view and what you think about the show. Hey, Wizard, take us home.
Hey, if they're not confirmed, consider yourself denied.
Hey, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you on the Raw Review Show tomorrow night. Peace.